Okay, should be recording. Yes, as it is. I see the file, so I hope that means recording. It'd be awkward if it did. Alright, so considering in Darksiders II Deathinitive Edition, working on the DLC because Samael was kicking my ass too hard. And only have three and a half things in my notes to talk about. Oh, there was definitely more this week, but mainly the AMD stuff. I think that way I go. That I hadn't gone there yet. But yeah, I mean, mainly the AMD stuff. I think it's not surprising at all that that's... There's also a path there? I'm gonna go this way first. Yeah, so AMD, for those that weren't paying attention, to news of the week, or tech news of the week, AMD announced their 5000 series CPUs, which, yes, does mean that they have skipped 4000 series for desktop, but a lot of people would say that's a good thing. Not that oh, they should skip it, but they've been a little weird with how they basically... Trying to think of how best to put it. The APUs were incremented ahead of the desktop CPUs, and that has led to some confusion for people. So it's like the current Ryzen 4000 series APUs. Yeah, those are based on Zen 2. So it would be a little weird then to have Ryzen 4000 series desktop CPUs that are based on Zen 3. But that's exactly what's been going on. So the 2000 series APUs were based on Zen, while the 2000 series desktop CPUs were based on Zen Plus, and just, yeah. We decided, we're finally going to do something about that. And Zen 3 is... It's worth looking at some of the stuff, like the AnandTech article on it. Weird. Because while in some ways it kinda sorta looks like it kinda sorta looks like Zen 3 is an improvement on Zen 2. Apparently they've said to journalists that no, Zen 3 is like ground up redesign. That's where we go. So it is not so simple. How do I get it back to where I need? That's... No. I don't think that's it. That would be. Good. Yeah, so it is not as simple as, oh, they, just have finally, like, done this or done that with Zen 2. No, Zen 3 is... Oh, I really screwed there. It is, in fact, a different beast, but they will be revealing more details of that November 5th with the actual release of the CPUs. But obviously the main thing that we saw was, because they did show it, was the changing of the CCX. So, with the original Zeppelin die from Zen 1, you had two CCXs in there, and each CCX contained four... Oh, I was hitting the wrong button. Oops. I am in trouble. Yeah, I'm in serious trouble right now. You know, I might as well just let it kill me so I can approach this a little differently. I'm dead. How am I? There we go. Yeah, so instead of being 2 4-core CCXs in a die, it's now a CCX is now 8 cores, which is really helpful because that means any communication between the cores doesn't have to cross as many barriers. Man, these enemies are so shitty. Like, let's just surround the player with something, with a bunch of enemies, and then also have an enemy that can apparently just freeze you in place so that you can be pounded on and not really give you any way to interrupt them. And for the record, I was hoping to lock on to that guy and pull him, but instead of doing that, it decided, nah, he can't be affected. And again, the camera is shit. Another benefit to making the CCX's 8-core instead of 4-core is that means that you have double the L3 cache. So instead of it being a 2x16 cache situation, and that was sheer insanity, right there. Yeah, this is such a horrible fight. This guy, I'm sorry, he's basically a powerful mage, which means he should have low health. That is the design for such an enemy. Is low health, unless you want them to actually be like a mini-boss. This is not a mini-boss, though. This guy is just overpowered. Without excuse. I mean, there's no reason for him to be that powerful. I should not have been playing this game on Deathinitive, I feel. Like, I just should know better. So why am I not gaining any fury? I do not understand that. It doesn't matter. Go ahead and kill me. But yeah, by having the L3 cache unified, coming back to the news, that means that there is, again, a lesser latency penalty, because every core will be able to access more information. It's also annoying you can't skip this. I mean, there really are problems with how this game is designed, as far as, like, as far as how the flow works. You know what? I'm just curious. I am kind of feeling like... I'm really feeling like I should just do that. Because I haven't been having much fun with the game for a while now. In part because it is just so badly balanced. It really is. I'm sorry for anyone that's like, no, what are you talking about? Definitive, that's the way you're supposed to play. Because there are people that do, but they also do that for every single game. It's like, what are you talking about? The Dark Souls is so easy, you need to play it on hardest difficulty. It's like, you don't actually represent, like, 100% of all players. It's like, you are a rounding error. You are such an outlier. And I'm not saying that as an insult. If anything, it's impressive that you're able to find such enjoyment out of that difficulty. But you are an outlier. The rest of the gaming community wants to have fun. which involves not facing overpowered enemies typically. And this is overpowered. He completely has far more health than he should. Like, it is disturbing how much health he has considering his abilities. Just kill me. No, I'm hands off. It's... I'm sorry, this is so stupid. It's just... I can't keep track of enemies because of how bad the camera is. Because it's placed way too close. And just movement relative to the camera is so... Why am I not dead? You know, fine, I'll break out. There. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna drop the difficulty down because like I said, I'm not having fun at this. I'm not. And I do want to have fun when playing games. Yeah, apocalyptic. That's gonna be easier. So anyway, coming back to the CPU stuff, AMD CPU stuff, and I might actually, by the way, just come back to the game. I might drop the difficulty further. It depends, because like I said, I just want to have fun at this point. I have been so busy this week. I've really fun. I was honestly considering just being in. Damn it. Being in Satisfactory again because of how busy I've been this week. Working on the data collection for Serious Sam 4 and Crisis Remastered, which has been interesting. Some of that has been actually very interesting. I'm looking forward to sharing that stuff, and I will talk about some of it too, since like both games are out. Yes, my data and such isn't, but why did it change who I was aiming at? Who I was locked on to? To not be locked on to anyone now, so I can actually, move. It seems I bumped a button, so I'm now walking. And I have no idea what that button is. So I need to look it up. R. Why would that be on R? That's another. Man, Dark Souls had such a bad influence on the games industry. It really has. This is definitely a game influenced by it, because it's like any attack they land on me, I'm stunned. I am stunned. I cannot attack. I cannot move. I cannot use abilities. I can attack them and nothing happens. They're completely unaffected. And this whole obsession. I blame on Dark Souls with the whole, oh no, you can be locked down, your stamina is important, you have to count attacks, you have to do all this bullshit. That is completely something I blame on Dark Souls, because it's something out of there. And it's not fun. It really isn't. Because it's like, how is it fun that the player is at a disadvantage against every enemy? I mean, what, you want to claim that, oh, but, you know, it's overcoming the greater odds. It's like, I'm facing, like, half a dozen enemies at a time. I'm already overcoming great odds. Right? I mean, like, with the Microwave 5 Mercenaries review, how I pointed out in there that if it's the whole becoming a legend, I've already done that. Because with a team of 4, I take out half a dozen enemies at a time, and more spawn in. It's like, I've already won. I'm already a legend. I don't need to do more. I mean, it's just gonna be easy to get rid of stuff by rating. I'm just gonna go with the white. There. Alright, yeah, so because of the various improvements to Zen 3, AMD is saying that they will now, come November 5th, offer the most powerful CPUs in all capacities. That they will be the fastest for gaming, fastest for productivity workloads, content creation, which productivity and content creation, they've already been able to claim that for a while. So, it's really gaming that's the big deal, and they've achieved that in part by not only hitting higher clock speeds, I believe, but 19% IPC improvement, which is impressive. It's like, especially when you consider something else to this that I don't know how many people are necessarily taking note of. I am, though. Is that AMD stated that it's on the same process node as Zen 2, which I think is very interesting when you consider how the pricing is and the potential going forward. Hey, there. I want to warp back to the guy if I can. I can't, and I don't remember how to move between floors. There's so many design problems with this game. I'm sorry, it's just true. Did I complain about them in the review? I hope I did. Though I might not have. I might not have noticed all of them at that time. Like, I have gotten better over the years, I think. But yeah, the Zen 2 and Zen 3 are both going to be using, both going to be on the same TSMC 7nm node, and also the I/O die between 7nm and between Zen 2 and Zen 3 is also the same. So all of the connectivity, all of the memory stuff. What the hell? What are you? By the way, I'm blaming the camera on this, because it turns you, and I was hitting forward because it's forward for death. Instead, it was instead of being forward for death, though, it was forward for the camera, which is not how it is any other time. I mean, it's, yeah, there is such inconsistency. Alright, I really hate this game. Okay, I'm gonna not touch anything. There we go. Yes, all There. Whew. I think I do end up fighting that thing. Flying by. Yep. Pretty sure. What do I do? I am. But anyway, I think it's very interesting, the whole, it's the same, there. It's the same process node and same IO die, because then that would, at least suggest to me that we could see a very interesting transition from one generation to the next. It's not just going to be we're going to, keep producing them in parallel for a while, because, we still have contracts with TSMC or Global Foundries or whoever. It might actually be like, over time, the line will transition from making Zen 2 to making Zen 3, just in place. Because, normally when they talk about, a contract with a foundry like TSMC, you're talking about wafers. A promise to order so many wafers. Does that then mean that that wafer could become a, one generation CPU or another? I hate this because I have no health potions. I might drop the difficulty down further because of this, because I can't get back anywhere to purchase some, so yeah. This stun is also so frickin' long. Now I have seen how a lot of people are complaining about the price difference between the suggested price for Zen 2 and the suggested price for the Zen 3 CPUs. Though it has also been interesting, at least one person pointed out, this is AMD. They spontaneously dropped the price for the the Radeon RX 5700 series between its announcement and launch. Now, true, that was supposedly to mess with NVIDIA, to make them feel more comfortable launching the Super Series at a certain price, and then it's like, oh no, we're undercutting you. Which that's not really the situation here, but it is still technically they could. I doubt they would. It's just basically AMD feeling that we have a product now that can command this price because of the performance there. But it is also the whole. I could very much believe that because outside of Threadripper and Epic, Zen 2 outside of Zen 2 based Epic and Threadripper parts, I would think that they could basically transition to only making Zen 3 relatively quick. I am guessing, I'm completely guessing at that. But it still is, I think, an interesting thought to consider. That we could see that price come down sooner, because they might be able to just be like, oh, well, we're done with Zen 2 now, it's Zen 3 on everything, and so we'll drop the price now. And I don't think, many people will be upset if that happens. Assuming that is a, yes, we've dropped the price now because we can. We don't need it to be so expensive anymore, because Zen 2 is gone, and it's also, some people point out, and it is very appropriate and important to remember, the whole, it's like Zen 2, the current Zen 2 products are around. It's not like those are gone. you will be able to purchase those for a while, and they do, fit into the product stack. So, you want a 12 core, but you don't want to pay the, what is it, 550, I think? You don't want to pay that much for it? Well, you can get the 3900X or XT instead. Also, some people have been pointing out that, AMD didn't announce the non-X variants, which are the lower cost, but still the same core count parts, and also fairly often low TDP. Son of a bitch, this guy has way too much range. An instant correction to his attacks. It's nuts. I did not hit the button, by the way, or at least I didn't feel like I did. So yeah, we will see what ends up happening, but right now, I think that it was a nice event. I think it will be interesting. It will be interesting to see what happens. Wish I had another thing I could sacrifice stuff to, because I don't want to use this. I don't like this. Well, any heavy weapon. But at least at least, I will always be able to just sacrifice this to whatever it is I ultimately... Oh, wait. I just realized I do have these other things. Well, I don't have some. There we go. Yeah, so it will be interesting to see what comes with the new CPUs. And the fuller stack. Yeah, I came in. Don't do that yet. Okay. There. I will also admit this. I mean, yes, I'm very happy with my 1950X. I'm not gonna... Well, even if I could afford to build a new computer, I probably wouldn't for a while yet. But I will admit that until I see benchmarks and such, I don't really have an opinion of the I figure out where I need to aim. But I'm also thinking, how can I get back to what I'm hoping, so I can buy some. Yep, good. It's like, I am definitely curious to see how the 8-core CCXs will work out.
Please, take a look.
Sell. No. Yes. Yeah, okay. No, I hang on to that. Yeah.
Fair price.
Yeah. No. Yes. Yeah. And I know I got distracted again. But it's just like right now, I'm just not sure if there's anything that's gonna make me be like, ooh, I will want to, whenever the new thread rip was announced, ooh, I'm gonna want to upgrade to that. It's like I think I need to wait and see the reviews for that first. But I will admit I do want thread ripper. It's nice knowing that I have more PCIe lanes than I will ever, as opposed to going to the more conventional series that will take if I have more than one PCIe device in there, it's possible things will be disconnected or run at a lower rate, and just I do not want to have to deal with that. And there's also the whole, I like the idea. It's like if I were to build a new computer, what I would love to do. Where the hell am I trying to go, by the way? I do not. What I would want to do is go to as much just of the M.2 drives as I could, just so I don't need to worry about SATA cables, basically. It's purely cable management. And also power management stuff. Nothing whatsoever to do with okay. Nothing whatsoever to really do with the speed. I'm fine with that. But it's like I would like the whole get over here. And also, can I? Okay, it does. Oh, I can just go on this way. Trying to get my brain to turn back over. But yeah, I just, would like to be able to do that, where it's basically all the storage is on the motherboard, except probably for some... I mean, this is the whole, if I had an unlimited budget, or even just a reasonable income of any kind, just M.2 drives for most everything, and then on top of, and then probably still some SATA drives, some spinning bus drives of some sort into hard drives, so that I can just basically have all the storage I need as well. Because let me tell you something, a lot of people seem to forget. Most people don't need. You're not going to notice in many things a hard drive being slower. Go here. I kind of want to wrap up so, but I don't want to engage in any large encounter. Yeah, I know there's one over there as well. It's just I started walking this way. But yeah, it's like, I've been recording video. I've even recorded some not uncompressed, but lossless video. I did that years ago, though. Like 100 megabit per second. No problem whatsoever going to a hard drive. At all. It was completely fine with that. Think about that. It's like, oh, you gotta have an NVMe M.2 drive to be able to suffer through the loading times and stuff. It's like, I've had, recording to a hard drive at 100 megabit per second. No problem whatsoever on that. I mean, it is silly. It really is silly. The people that are like, oh, you gotta do SSD for everything. It's like, I mean, it helps, yes, but it's hardly necessary for normal computing. Even more extreme, like the encoding. And I don't record at that. I don't do the lossless compression anymore. I mean, I think it's 30 megabit I use for... I think that's the top end of what I use for anything now, and it's fine. I mean, okay, I guess if I were recording at 4K, that might not be enough, but probably 40, 50 megabit. Wow. Hey, well, yeah. There is more to talk about, so I shouldn't walk away. Or I can just, like, do it at the menu, I guess. Yeah, so they did also tease, I'm gonna try to go through this quickly. They did tease RX 6000, so the next generation of Radeon GPUs, which it's a tease, and they also didn't give us all the information. All we know is that it was an NRX 6000 GPU paired with the Ryzen 9 5950X. So that really disrupts the ability to compare things, because like they tested it on a CPU that no one else can test with. So that doesn't help too much. But it looked like it came out about on par with the 3080, the RTX 3080. But what's worth noting, and apparently Herkelman, was it? I saw something from PC World that Pat Herkelman, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, of AMD, made the point that we haven't said what that GPU was. It's just part of the series. So could that have been the top-end product? It's possible. It's also possible that it wasn't. It could be the second from top. Actually, that would be somewhat believable, because how did AMD announce the CPUs? They focused on the 5900X, not the 5950X, the 5900. How did NVIDIA announce its GPUs? It focused on the RTX 3080. It didn't focus on the RTX 3090. That was the last thing they announced. They focused on the 3080. So it's very reasonable then to believe that's what AMD did, that they focused on second from top. But it could also be, it's possible it was the top product. It's also possible that it was an even lower product. That they do have stuff that will easily beat the 3080. It depends on what you consider reasonable, and what you would dismiss as wishful thinking. We really don't know. So last thing, and I'll actually quit out of this and just have the thumbnail up. Last thing I got. Talk about with City Sam 4 and Crisis Remastered. I don't remember all the stuff. The ray tracing in Crisis Remastered has been interesting, including to see what happens with the GTX 770 and GTX 980. I'll put it simply, you don't want to enable ray tracing on those. But that doesn't mean that the results were not interesting. It's just that they're not that powerful. 1080 did a good job. 1070 was kind of stretching. 1080 did a decent job. The 1080 is actually, I'd say, holding its weight fairly well in general. But I'm still... Okay, the 770 was able to give playable performance. I don't think with ray tracing. Pretty sure that was not the case. But I like that I still have that in the suite of GPUs. That's my point, that I still have that and still test with it, because it does show some life still in it, despite being as old as it is. But Serious M4, that was super interesting. And I still have a bit more data to collect, but it is the first game I have with variable rate shading in it. So that's the whole that you reduce the shading rate of certain parts of the image, so that reduces the work the GPU needs to do. It frees up performance. I've only done that on the RTX 2060, because I only have two GPUs that support the 2060 and the 2080, and I'm not bothering with the 2080. I'm actually going to be taking that out to put in the next GPU after I finish this. The 2080 is powerful enough that I don't think I need to investigate it. I'm just looking at this as a, how does this perform and how does it work on the 2060? It worked very well. There were you could see that the image quality was different, and there was also one issue I ran into, and I did I did report it. Hopefully that will be fixed then. But it made a huge impact under one of the configurations with the 2060. I will leave exactly what that was for the write-up. But VOS is definitely impressive. And I would say personally, I'm more impressed by that than with something like a DLSS. Because DLSS, for one thing, it's billed as free performance, as it looks as good as native resolution, or better even, some people will say. But then it's, like in MechWarrior 5, I'm playing it and I see that, the lighting is different on various things, the effects are different. It's like, that to me, it's like, okay, it looks as good as native resolution, except it looks like settings haven't changed. It's like, I'm not okay with that. I don't like that. And it's also, DLSS is not only vendor locked, I mean, it's locked to NVIDIA products, it's locked to specific NVIDIA products, and it's locked to the specific games that support that specific NVIDIA technology. Whereas VRS is just a feature of DirectX 12. Trying to remember, is it 12.1 or 12.2? I don't remember what tier of DirectX 12 it is, but it's just a feature there. So anyone doing DirectX 12 games can choose to support it if they want. And it's also, I think that there are extensions in Vulkan to give it as well. So although Series M4 only supports on DirectX 12. If Vulkan doesn't have an extension for it, though, I'm sure it will get one. But yeah, it's like, and it's also upfront. It's like, yes, it's going to reduce the image quality in some parts of the screen, but not in the ones that you are focused on. And the performance impact was significant. So it's, yeah, I have more faith in VRS being a technology going forward that will make a GPU like the RTX 2060 have a lot more life in it. But it is also, I mean, it's the first implementation of it I've seen. And, well, I personally have. I think I have seen examples of some of it in other places, but it can be better, but it is still rather impressive as it is. And I don't doubt that there is room for improvement with it. Just thinking if there's anything else. Don't think so. So yeah, now I should just wrap this up so I can get back to the next suite of tests in the two games, so I can collect the data and then get to the task of writing it all up. That's not going to be as much fun as you might. Or maybe you think it's not going to be fun at all. Well, it is going to be a little bit fun, but it's somewhere in between those extremes. Anyway, see you next week when hopefully I won't be as busy, but I probably will.